Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was in Toronto today with a $471 million investment in the city's housing.
With today's agreement, the City of Toronto will fast-track 12,000 new homes over the next 3 years and well over 50,000 new homes over the next decade.
This is the largest payment yet to a municipality under the federal Housing Accelerator Fund, a program which requires cities to relax zoning rules to allow more units to be built in response to the nationwide housing crisis. For more on this, Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow joins me now. Mayor, welcome to the show.
Hi, good afternoon.
Thanks for being on with us. So in exchange for this cash injection, you had to agree to certain conditions. The city must allow multiplexes of up to 4 stories in all neighborhoods. That won't necessarily go over so well with some residents. Are you worried about a blowback?
No, not at all. We, in fact, started on it. Most of the neighborhood already have this, and we're going to make sure that it is across Toronto. We also will be doing something called the Gentle Middle, which is on Main Street, 6 to 8 story, and in terms of density. And along the big transit corridor, on top of subway stations or right beside LRT stations, we will be looking to have much higher density so that we can achieve more homes and do it in a much faster way.
The reason I ask is because Windsor's mayor has rejected some of the terms of the Housing Accelerator Fund. Drew Dilkin says he wants to protect existing homeowners. He doesn't want unbridled development in residential neighborhoods. Oakville, a suburb west of your city, is also dubious of adding all this density to residential land. Do you think Ottawa is being a little too heavy-handed with its demands?
I don't believe so. The City of Toronto already have a blueprint to build 65,000 units of rent-control rental housing. That came through our city council just a month and a half ago, and it was unanimously supported. I think there was one councillor that voted against it. So you can see that the entire city council, doesn't matter which councillors, where they come from, we are united in believing that we must build housing, and we must build some of them in an affordable way so that people that do not have high income can also afford to live in the city. Because right now, a lot of young families are pushed to move out of the city. Seniors are worried sick that they are going to get evicted, and people that have abilities or people that their income is not that high, they're finding by the time they finish paying rent, there's hardly enough money to put food on the table. And so we are in the middle of a very, very serious housing crisis. And you can see the manifestation of it by seeing that 1 out of 10 Torontonians relied on a food bank in order to eat. And that's how desperate people are because of high rent. So we must build a lot more housing. We must do it quickly.
Let's dig into the deal itself. So the thing that you've signed here with Ottawa calls for at least 12,000 new housing units in the next 3 years and potentially up to 53,000 more units as a result of these Housing Accelerator funds. But the city's population is expected to grow to well over 3 million people. That's going to happen soon. And so to me, it just seems like this housing plan is just a bit of a drop in the bucket. Do you need to do a lot more than this?
You're right, it's not enough, but we will do more. This is a very, very good first step. And the provincial government has also come on side with about $300 million of investment. So combine that together, we should be able to build a lot more housing much faster. Is it enough? Probably not. What we need to do is to prevent people from being rent-evicted or evicted because of demolition. Which is one piece that we'll be also working on, and that's also part of the agreement. We would like to buy some of the buildings that are existing right now that are falling apart, and some of the tenants are being pushed out. So quite a few of them are seniors. we need to protect those buildings so that we don't lose them while we build new ones. So there are different ways that we could deal with this housing crisis.
You mentioned the province. The City Council passed the new deal that you brokered with Doug Ford last week. That will give you some much needed cash to plug some holes in the budget. But part of the deal is dependent on Ottawa stepping up with some matching funds. Has the federal government said it will come through with the money you need?
Not yet. You're right. The new deal brought on $4.2 billion from the province of Ontario, but $1.3 billion of it, that funds depends on the federal government stepping up also. A chunk of it is about the funds that we need to house refugees. This coming year, we will need to, there's going to be 5,000 plus refugees arriving to Toronto, and they are already, a lot of them are already in our shelter system, and it will cost us $250 million to house refugees. We have the biggest shelter system in Canada. So we need the federal government to step up and help us shelter some of the refugees. If not, they're going to have a hard time on the streets of Toronto, and winter has arrived, and it's quite brutal to sleep on the street. And already we have 300 encampments all around the city because there's just, our shelters are just full. So the $1.3 billion that we need from the federal government to unlock the funds from the province, I think we need to do that quite soon.
Yeah, so
we need that decision.
We're talking about 11,000 people in Toronto's shelter system each night. 40% of them, the best estimate we have, are refugees. So this is quite a large issue. Every member of parliament that represents Toronto is either a Liberal or there's one independent that used to be a Liberal. Do you feel like they're representing the city well? Have they done enough to get this cash you need from Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland?
I hope they are listening, not just to me, but to all those amazing people that belong to churches that have opened the doors, all the very generous Torontonians that said, yes, we have room for you. I hope their voices, their caring attitude can be reflected. Because I remain hopeful, because in my conversation with the Prime Minister, I think he gets it. He understands how tough it is out there. And I'm hoping that he could make a decision soon so that we could hear some good news. The city budget is coming up on January 10th. And so we need some decision soon.
I have to let you go, but I want to squeeze this in. What will happen if you don't get that cash from Ottawa?
Well, we will not put people out on the street. We won't close shelters. That's not who we are. The $250 million is 6% property tax increase. This is before trying to deal with TTC, public transit, police, libraries, community centers, clean water, and all those things that we are involved in. So it would be very tough because we need to make sure life remains affordable.
All right, let's leave it there. Thank you so much to the Toronto Mayor, Olivia Chow. Thanks for coming on the show, Mayor.
Thank you.